up to the big fish and said, "Arf, arf." The big fish swam far, far away. The other sharks liked Arf now. "We like Arf," they said. Do you like reading, Christopher? Mm-hmm. Why? Because it's wonderful and I love it. And it's just that I want to read all day.
How did you learn how to read, Josh? You can read, can't you?
Yes.
How'd you learn how?
Because my teacher taught me how to sound things out.
Oh, and that's how you learned how to read?
Yes.
Do you like reading?
Yes.
Why do you like reading?
Because it's fun learning and reading, because reading helps you all the way through your life.
Hello, I'm Phyllis Haddocks, Director of the Follow-Through Project based at the University of Oregon. I'll be your trainer as you participate in intensive training on the beginning reading program from the most successful educational approach ever developed, direct instruction. DI programs are designed to be fail-safe, so if you follow them faithfully, they will empower you to teach all students, even those who are usually considered to be the hardest to teach. Soon we'll get into the hands-on training and nitty-gritty details of the reading program, but first I'm going to provide you with some background information, a little about myself and more about DI, the history, research, and philosophy. In the late 60s, I was a reading specialist who had tried every method and material to teach what we now call at-risk students. Then one spring day in 1970, I was talking with my supervisor. She said that she'd been piloting some new material that seemed to be working very well. It had been successful in some inner city somewhere or other. And when I asked her what it was and what she did with this new approach, she said, "Well, I clap my hands a lot, I snap my fingers, and pretty soon the students are reading, but I don't know why." I thought, oh boy, just another weird educational fad. At the end of summer break, I got quite a shock when I returned to school because I found that the new program was mandated for all of us reading specialists. Fortunately, we had a DI teacher trainer in the district to assist us. I started using the program, and the first thing I noticed was how long the children were able to pay attention and how much they seemed to enjoy this new approach. In a short time, the miraculous happened. Those kids were reading. Since then, I've worked as a DI teacher trainer, author, and implementer with thousands of teachers and their students, and I've never seen a student who couldn't be taught to read with direct instruction. So now I'm extremely pleased to have the opportunity to share with you that experience, training, and information. The direct instruction reading series, Reading Mastery, was designed to efficiently teach students functional strategies so that they quickly learn how to decode independently, comprehend what they read for a wide range of purposes, and enjoy the whole process while they learn. During the first 2 levels of Reading Mastery series, children learn how to read. Reading Mastery 1 and 2 should be considered as a unit because together they teach foundation decoding and comprehension strategies. Level 1 is a unique phonics-based program using non-traditional alphabet, carefully sequenced sounds introduction, and the critical reading pre-skills that are ignored in most other beginning reading approaches. Level 2 makes a smooth transition into traditional print. These 2 programs are the 4th edition of the original DISTAR reading programs that achieved the highest student outcomes when compared to all other beginning reading approaches. 4 times over the past 25 years, these programs have been revised and updated using feedback from teachers and data on student performance. This unique field testing and revision process has resulted in progressive program improvements that have made learning even easier for children and instructional procedures more manageable for teachers. Reading Mastery 1 was designed to be used with young children who have few or no basic reading skills. The program can appropriately be used in preschool through primary level classes. There's an accelerated version of Reading Mastery 1 called Fast Cycle. Fast Cycle is typically used with children who can learn at an accelerated rate. In both Reading Mastery 1 and Fast Cycle, students are taught 40 different sounds from a specially designed print. When you first see Level 1 material, this funny-looking alphabet is probably one of the most striking features you'll notice. This elaborated traditional orthography is used to facilitate learning to read and make it a simpler, faster, and more predictable process by reducing the potentially confusing discriminations beginning readers will have to make. This print allows students to say only one sound for each symbol. Only lowercase symbols are taught so the children don't have to learn two symbols for each sound. Macrons or bars over long vowels make vowel discrimination easier. When letters are silent, they are shown in smaller print. Other prompts include joined letters when they make one sound and altered symbols that make discriminations easier. For example, the B and the D, H and N, F and T, J and I. Also, the A is written as it is always seen in print. This A is easier to discriminate from B, D, P, and Q. During the beginning lessons of Level 1, in addition to sound-symbol relationship and symbol identification, students are learning other essential pre-reading skills, including sounds pronunciation and discrimination, left-to-right sequencing, and blending using auditory, visual, and kinesthetic modalities. So, with Reading 1 or Fast Cycle, children learn to read quickly by saying one sound for each symbol, blending the sounds in a left-to-right sequence, and finally saying the blended sounds at a faster rate to produce a word. By Lesson 28 of Reading Mastery 1 or Lesson 10 of Fast Cycle, students decode their first word. During remaining Level 1 lessons, sufficient practice is provided so that children gradually internalize the sounding out strategy and read by whole words. By the end of Level 1, children are reading stories, participating in following directions, comprehension games, and independently completing workbook exercises. These students have learned a strategy for reading many unfamiliar words. Their reading skills are far more powerful than if they had merely memorized the words. The result is not only a larger reading vocabulary, but greater confidence in their own ability to read independently. Reading Mastery 2 continues teaching children how to break the code using the prompted alphabet at the beginning of the program. Letter combinations such as AR and OU are presented. The transition to traditional print occurs as the prompted print is gradually faded. Macrons are removed as students learn to handle words with a final E, joined letters are unjoined, and capital letters and letter names are taught. Many irregular words are introduced. More complex comprehension and independent applications are presented. By the end of Level 2, children can decode and comprehend thousands of words. A fast cycle of Reading Mastery 2 is available. Reading Mastery 3 and 4 focus on teaching children to use reading as a tool to learn new information. Stories are carefully designed to integrate science and social studies themes. Reading Mastery 5 and 6 are learning through literature programs that teach complex oral and written applications, including interpretive comprehension, reasoning, and analysis.
I'm reading a very, very old story today. It was written by an ancient Greek writer. Who remembers the name of that writer? Toshiba? Homer, very good.
Just before he fell asleep, Polyphemus looked at Odysseus and asked him, "What is your name?"
Cyclops. Who has an idea about what that would have been like if the Cyclops would have told the story? David, would you like to read us your point of view about from what the Cyclops would have said and thought about what was going on?
Yes, the Cyclops. One day on my way home from Poseidon and my father, I saw a large ship on my island. It was a pretty big ship, so I thought huge people sailed in it, and I got scared.
As you've seen, the Reading Mastery series is used to teach students how to read, then how to use reading as a tool to learn new information and as a source of enjoyment. The Reading Mastery series was designed to be the foundation of a total integrated language arts curriculum. Other direct instruction programs teach children receptive and expressive language skills. For example, the DISTAR Language 1 program was designed to teach young children the language of instruction, including colors, shapes, common information, following instructions, plurals, concepts of same and different, and sentence generation. The Reasoning and Writing series was designed to teach higher order thinking skills, including story grammar, perspective, inference, and a wide range of other receptive and expressive skills. We designed this tape series to assist educators to successfully implement the direct instruction model. Not only will the tapes present the rationale for each type of exercise from a specific instructional program, its design, the teacher presentation, and the management strategies, the tapes will also demonstrate and provide many opportunities to practice the essential instructional techniques that teachers need to learn before working with students. To best use these training tapes, you should schedule sufficient time not only to watch them, but also to participate in practice as indicated on the tapes. Consider these tapes your own intensive pre-service and in-service workshops. You could watch them at home, but you need someone to act as your student. Ideally, you would work with other teachers during sessions scheduled at school. During peer practice sessions, other teachers can act as your students and also give you feedback. The first several tapes in this series provide the intensive training to teach the first level of the 6th level Direct Instruction Reading series. The following section of this tape will provide an overview of the entire reading series with emphasis on the first level. Although DI programs are precision teaching tools, they are, after all, just print on paper. A teacher is the vital link between the instructional tools and the learner. Now, Zig Engelman will discuss your vital role.
When you do direct instruction, you're going to serve a lot of people. You're going to serve yourself, you're going to serve the kids, and you're going to serve the system and the parents. That sounds pretty ambitious, but it's true for this reason. You will be able to teach more kids more effectively than you've ever taught them before. You'll reach more kids. The reason is that the program's been designed that way. When we designed the program, we didn't start out with the idea that kids should be taught this way or that we should use particular techniques. We started out with the idea that the kids would teach us. They would make mistakes, and from their mistakes we would learn that those are our mistakes. And we would fix up the program so that the program had the capabilities of working if you teach it according to the way it was supposed to have been taught. Now that means that you'll find a lot of conventions in this program that make it kind of unpopular in traditional or current circles. Like you will follow scripted presentations. You'll read or say exactly verbatim what the script says. And the script will cover all the activities in the program. We didn't start out with that idea. We scripted presentations because we found that the wording that the teacher uses makes a great difference in terms of how the kids are going to perform. Similarly, the use of signals to get kids to respond at the same time. We didn't start out with the idea that that was necessary. Rather, we derived signals because we found that teachers had problems. And they had problems because some of the kids were just parroting responses of other kids. If all the kids respond at the same time, we avoid those problems. And similar other features of the programs like correction mistakes, correction procedures for mistakes that kids make. We didn't start out with the idea that we should introduce those. Rather, we found out that because the kids made errors, we had better provide articulate correction procedures so that all the details of the program, how you position yourself with the kids, how you present the task, even the pacing that you'll use to present the material is designed to keep the kids' interest and to assure that they'll be on task and follow your signals, so that everything is designed with you in place. The idea is that you're going to get information from the way the kids respond. You're going to use that information to reinforce the kids or to correct them. You will know what each kid is doing. So in a sense, even though you're going to be working with a group, it's like working one-on-one with the individual kids. You're going to be able to hear what they all say. You're going to know what they're all doing, and you're going to be able to teach them to mastery. That's really important. Unless kids really master the material, they're not going anywhere. If all they do is receive exposure, that's not going to help them. You build on a foundation, and the foundation are the basic skills. And what's built on those are more sophisticated skills. And what happens and how that translates into what you're going to do is every day you'll see kind of versions of the same kind of tasks. But every day they're going to be a little bit changed, a little different from the preceding one. And over time what you'll see is that you start out with some pretty simple tasks and now they're very complicated. And the kids are all performing at 100%. One of the reasons that happens is because the sequence is designed to make it happen. Another reason is that you're going to place kids so that they're able to perform at a good first-time correct percentage rate. They're going to be correct on most of the things you present, and they're going to be first-time correct, so that as they go through the program, they will maintain that first-time correct percentage. That means that the tasks will get a little harder and a little harder, and the kids will continue to get it right, get it right, get it right. You will reach kids you've never been able to reach before. And one of the reasons I mentioned before is because of the sequencing of the program. Look at it like this, that you have only so much time to teach kids. Now you can do it either one-on-one, you can do it in small groups, you can do it different ways. But if your goal is to teach them as much as possible during the available time, you can improve what you're doing somewhat by motivating them more, by turning them on, by giving them a reason for doing it. You'll do that. All right? But even after you've done that, now it becomes a question of how do you teach them? How do you teach them rhyming in a way that ties in with beginning reading? How do you teach more in less time? And that's the game if you think about it. Some kids are behind. How do they get caught up? The only way that's going to be possible is if you teach more during the available time. So, we've tried to design the program so that that is possible. And actually, if you follow the programs, it is possible. Teaching more in less time means that we have designed the tasks in a way that they're going to communicate with the kids. If you present them as they're written, the kids will understand what you're saying. The kids will receive adequate practice, and they'll learn the material to mastery, and you'll be able to move on and do all those nice things about doing different tasks on subsequent lessons and kids learning more and ultimately mastering very sophisticated tasks. Kids that you never believed were capable of doing that. Okay, what that means is that if the program is designed so that all of the kids can learn, it means that you're getting better information about your kids. For example, when kids fail, that tells not only about the kids, but that tells about you. That means that you have failed, that you have taught only a percentage of the kids. That's one of the things we're going to change, and that's one of the benefits for you. If all of the kids succeed, what are you going to do? You're going to learn two things. Some about yourself. You're going to learn, one, that you can teach all those kids. And more important, you're going to learn about a format, about a system, about the kind of tasks that the kids needed to learn that material. Like, let's say that you got kids who never learned to decode accurately before. They're word guessers, and they never really caught on to the game. When you learn through reading mastery how to change that, how to teach kids effectively, you're going to see a model of how to create learning. You're going to see how much repetition the kids need, what kind of examples they needed to bring them to mastery, how much it had to be reviewed, how much the material had to be used once they learned it, and a whole bunch of technical detail about how to teach more effectively. You'll become more of a technician. You'll learn more about teaching. Okay, that's only going to happen if you follow the program, and it's only going to happen if the program is designed so that it addresses all these technical details. It's a technical game. It's not anything that you casually go out and do. Like when we field test kids, we've made every mistake that you would make if you designed a program. And we saw those mistakes because we could follow those kids up, and we could see the results of our efforts and where we goofed up. And we made all the mistakes, and we corrected them, and we corrected them in a way that we can safely say, yeah, the kids can learn this stuff. Even kids you didn't dream could do it. And that when you do it the right way, you're going to have great power. And your power will also be a great service because it'll be transmitted to those kids. And when it's transmitted to those kids, it means the school has done a wonderful thing, because it's reduced the amount of special help that's going to be needed for some kids later on. It's reduced the special services. It has accelerated the kids. It has given a future to kids that otherwise wouldn't have a very bright future. So it has served the administration, it's served the school, and it has really served the parents, because you're functioning as a surrogate who does something that nobody else in society can do. No social workers, no legal agency, no health agency. You've given kids a future. You've given them the potential to do things they otherwise could never do before. So hang in there. A lot of it's going to be counterintuitive. You're going to do stuff just the exact opposite of the way you thought it should be done. But you're going to see why you do it, and furthermore, more important, you're going to see that it darn well works. So do it. Work hard at it. Give it a full shot. Do it according to the book and learn a model of doing it the right way. I guarantee you'll be a better teacher, and you'll be able to do things you dreamed about doing when you first started teaching and you know, may have been tarnished over the years. Good luck. If you have any questions, give me a call. We'll work it out. Thanks a lot.
As Zig indicated, we provide support to DI implementers. Although follow-through was originally a research and development project, in the 90s our focus is to demonstrate at sites around the country and disseminate effective educational practices. What has made the direct instruction model of education so successful as compared with other approaches? Direct instruction is different in philosophy and design. The direct instruction model is based on a philosophy that has two main assumptions. The first is that all students can learn if they are taught appropriately, regardless of their previous learning experiences. The second is that all teachers can be successful given effective teaching materials and sufficient training and support. To put our philosophy in action, for over 25 years we have designed, revised, and expanded procedures not only for exemplary instructional programs for our preschoolers to adults, but also an entire training and implementation system that includes teachers, paraprofessionals, trainers, supervisors, administrators, parents, and other community members.
Direct instruction is the most exciting system of teaching that I have ever used. When I started using it, I was a special education teacher. I had 9 special education children who were non-readers. At the end of the year, they were all reading. It was utterly amazing. Direct instruction made me an excellent teacher. I had always wanted to be an excellent teacher, but I had never been trained how to be an excellent teacher until I used this system. When I got to Wesley Elementary School, what amazed me even more was that this program not only worked with special education, low children, but also worked with average and above average children, making them gifted through the use of the program.
Our goal for all teachers is that they teach all students not only specific information, but also skills and strategies needed to solve problems independently. We want students to learn how to learn, then how to apply what they have learned to a wide range of academic subjects, and ultimately to real-life situations they encounter on their own. How are direct instruction programs designed to ensure that teachers can successfully teach all students these skills and strategies? Every skill is broken into sub-skills, small component skills that are taught one by one. Each sub-skill is taught until it is fully mastered, and then each sub-skill is continuously reviewed. Then these skills are integrated into more complicated strategies. These strategies are also taught to mastery and continuously reviewed. In this way, students use increasingly more complex skills.
And I had an opportunity, was standing on the sidewalk after school, and a boy walked up to me and he said, "Miss Klutz, I don't think you remember me." And I said, "Sure I do. Your name is Terrence." And I had actually taught him in 2nd grade. And he was graduating with honors from high school, and then he was going on to Texas A&M.
Currently, when implemented as designed, the direct instruction model continues to show positive outcomes. In fact, the approach was featured on Primetime Live.
They're going over vowel sounds, they're going over combinations of vowel sounds. We're plugging them into a system that I'll guarantee at the end of the year this youngster will be reading.
You find children doing special work in every classroom. These 1st graders are doing 3rd grade math, learning to multiply by 9. These 5th graders read Shakespeare and Steinbeck, and then compare and contrast. Over the past decade, Wesley has been one of Houston's best performing schools, with children consistently doing work up to 2 years ahead of their grade level.
I had a seminar, a DSTAR seminar, and I just used those same strategies and techniques throughout, in all my teaching, not just in the reading. I just transfer them over to my other subject areas.
When people come to Wesley, they often hear the word DSTAR and assume it means our primary reading program. Actually, DSTAR means Direct Instruction System for Teaching Achievement and Remediation, and includes a whole array of curriculum like Reading Mastery 1 to 6, Connecting Math Concepts, Expressive Writing, Reasoning and Writing, and lots of other programs that we use here very successfully at Wesley.
Macbeth, 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 beware Macduff, beware the thane of Fife.
Kids are given a basis, a foundation with mastery, and from that foundation you can veer off. My kids now are reading Shakespeare, and without mastery I'm not so sure they could handle that, because mastery maintains skills and it doesn't assume things for kids. And it gives them the foundation to veer off, and that's what my kids have done with Shakespeare. They've veered off, and they are independent thinkers. They're creative thinkers.
Just prior to publication of the first direct instruction programs, the United States Office of Education, as part of the War on Poverty, created a research and development project called Follow Through. This project was to be a follow-through on Head Start and was organized to select and test nationally recognized educational approaches to improving the achievement levels of economically disadvantaged youth up through the 3rd grade. Follow-through was the largest educational experiment ever conducted. For a period of 9 years, the Follow-through project compared major approaches which, with minor modifications, are the same approaches that are popular today. Those approaches were used in 170 communities with 75,000 children a year. The final evaluation showed that the direct instruction model, which used the original DISTAR programs with positive reinforcement procedures, was substantially more successful than any other approach, as measured by standardized tests and parent interviews. The direct instruction model achieved the highest results in both basic and cognitive areas of math, reading, integrated language arts, and also in increased feelings of self-esteem. We fulfilled our motto, so they shall not fail. Follow-up studies revealed consistently positive outcomes for direct instruction students. At first glance, DI does appear radically different from other approaches, and it is. However, there's a logical reason behind every procedure and strategy used in DI. The direct instruction model is unique in education because before any material was published or disseminated, strategies had been field tested with many children and their teachers and had proven to be effective. In the mid-60s at the University of Illinois, Siegfried Engelmann developed the direct instruction approach. Through a grant from the Carnegie Foundation, he and his small staff undertook a project to demonstrate that with a strong intervention, it is possible to prevent public school failure, that all children can learn, even those with labels. The students in this preschool project were economically disadvantaged 4-year-olds who had older siblings already placed in special education. This low-income group is the same population as Head Start, but this project predated Head Start by several years. Children were maximally engaged in instruction during the available time, 2.5 hours a day. They received instruction in language, reading, and math, plus still had time to participate in other activities such as music, art, and PE. And at the end of the 2-year grant period, that is when the children were 6 years old, the age to start 1st grade, the results were that there was an average gain of 20 points in IQ, a measure of language, and the students were performing at the mid-2nd grade level in reading and at the 3rd grade level in math.
Count by 6 3 times. 6, 12.
18.
18. Very good. 18 over.
Count by 1 over 2.
2. Okay, very good.
Count by 2 times 7. 2, 4, 6, 18, 12, 14, 16, 17. 9!
9 is right. 18 over 2 equals how many holes?
9.
So 1 whole A equals
9.
9. 1 whole A. Okay, let's.
How come we don't do no factory?
How come we don't do any factory?
No, we won't. I'm with wax. Why don't we do no factory?
I don't think I like to do factory with you.
I want to do some fractions.
Fractions? What do you
Yeah,
want to do?
fraction actions.
Uh-oh. Well,
So?
I heard him. Okay, here we go. Here, I'll let you make up a little fraction story. You go. go into a store and you say, I want to buy a pie. And the guy said, that's right, because 1/4 pie costs 5 cents. 1/4 pie costs 5 cents. How do I write it up? 4 P equals 5. Go! Four. 20 is right. 20 over 1. 20 over 1 equals 20. Right? 20 over 1 equals 20. So our answer is if 1/4 pie costs 5 cents, the whole pie costs 20 cents. What's wrong?
$20. You put $20. Wow. You gotta pay that much for a pie.
Is that better? Is that better? Would you rather, do you think 20 cents is right instead of $20? That sounds right to me.
After this stunning outcome, the developers decided that to replicate in public schools what was accomplished in the preschool, they would have to design programs that would be both instructional material and teacher training material. They wrote detailed scripts to try out with regular education teachers and their students. This original field test included 1,500 students and their teachers. The scripts went through 7 revisions and were finally published by SRA with the acronym DISTAR, Direct Instruction System for Teaching, Achievement, and Remediation.